replying to them. I've had such a nice sort of hour doing that. It's been wonderful. And so I thought, let's start the next one. And plus I've got a gazillion books to read. You can't even imagine. Maybe I need to show you my TBR cart. I've got to pick my next book anyway, so let's do it. Okay, so here's my cart, and these are all the books that I need to read. So Cersei is with my buddy Paula, and I'm loving it and working through that very well. Geraldine Brooks is a buddy read I dropped out on because I was sick. I had a tummy bug and just couldn't finish it in time. So I do want to finish that. I'm sort of, I don't know, just over halfway through, and I need to get to that to check in with everybody and just listen to everybody's thoughts. And yeah, because I was reading that with some really great women. And then these are all my Aussie April things to read. So I need to pick one and get stuck into this because I don't have long at all to get this done. You don't even want to see what's on this next shelf. It's chockers full of just amazing books for the BookTube Prize and the Walter Scott Prize. I got to get to them too. But first here. So I think the first one I am going to pick up is Shell by Kristina Olsson, because I want to read it, and also because it's the first one due back at the library. So that helps make my decision a little easier. This is about 1965 Australia, and there's a woman called Pearl, and she is a, cadet reporter who joins the anti-Vietnam movement, needs to locate her runaway brothers because that military draft has just come out for compulsory military service in the Vietnam War. So she's racing after them. She's got guilt about her mother's death. She's raised in the shadow of World War II. Oh no, and then you've got an Axel who's raised in the shadow of World War II. Sorry, that would have been too much for that chick to handle. Yeah, right. So he comes from Sweden to work on the Sydney Opera House, and then something happens between the two of them. Is it love? Is it destiny? Is it a tale of art and culture? Well, we shall see. It's late in the afternoon here. I've got to go and pick up my husband. I've got to go take a child back to his own home, who I've had for the day. But I have a little window of time, so let's get this started, I say. Let's do the first line thing, yeah? There's a great line that I had to mull over at the start. Can you read that? I had to kind of sit there and think, ideas, griefs, successes. But that made me think. Always a good sign. The first line, we are in Sydney in 1960. The day the great man sang, heat blazed in halos over Bennelong Point. This is what Pearl will remember later. This is what she will say, that his voice turned the air holy. Men, sweat-slicked, stood with bowed hats or hung off scaffolds, swatting at flies and tears. Few looked at the singer. They needed all their senses to hear. Needed their whole bodies, skin and eyes and hearts to absorb what they couldn't say. That sacredness had returned to this place. It flowed through them on a single human voice, through their bodies and the building that was rising beneath their hands. Ah! Boom! Nice work, Kristina Olsson. That's cool. But who's the person singing? Should I know that as an Australian? Are they obviously building the opera house? Who's singing? I'll let you know if I find out who was singing. What's she talking about? Robertson. Who's that? I need to look up some history. Hang on. Ah, Paul Robertson sings for the workers at Sydney Opera House. I did not even know this is a thing. Let's watch it together.
He must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton. Them that plants them is soon forgotten, but Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bale, show a little grit, and your land's in jail. But I keeps laughing instead of crying. I must keep fighting until I'm dying. And Old Man River, he'll just keep rolling along.
Wow, huh? To open with that scene and to make someone like me who has no idea what the hell they were talking about or what song was sung or any of those things, to make me compelled to look that up, and now I have that image in my head. I know what the workers look like. I can see the struggle. I can see the start of that beautiful building that will be the Sydney Opera House. That was a very clever move, Kristina Olsson. What a great start to this book. It's like I was holding my breath, hoping for it to be great. And it really impressed me. So far, I'm 2 pages in. So that was in 1960, and now I'm jumping ahead to 1965. So here we go. Should put the light on. Do you like this glow of my salt lamp? Can we talk good writing? I don't know anything technical about writing, right? I've never studied it. I don't know. I don't know. But to me, this is my personal opinion. Good writing is using words that stir emotion in me. That when I read a line, I get a lump in my throat, or I smile, or I have a physical reaction. I just appreciate that so much. When writing is not good, I don't feel anything. And that might sound all woo-woo and whatever, but I need it to make me physically feel something. I am reminded of this because I just read a passage in here where Pearl talks about what happened to her brothers. We know they're missing from the blurb on the back, so this isn't a spoiler. There will be no spoilers. I want you guys to enjoy this book if you choose to pick it up after watching this. But Pearl talks about how that came about, how it comes to be that she doesn't know where her little brothers are. And I had a lump in my throat for 3 pages. I was so connected to what happened to them. I was sad. It was so amazing that Kristina Olsson got this reaction from me 26 pages into a story when I don't really know Pearl at all. So yeah, it just reminded me that it's the good writing that gets me there every single time, and I am appreciating this very much. For example, here's a line. She's talking about when she was driven away from her father and she'd watched him through the back window as he'd stood staring, a hand extended as if the dusty tracks were a line he could pull to bring them back. That is for me, that just invokes, I can see it. I know it. Like, I just think that's beautiful. I just think that's good writing. Okay, I'm going to stop banging on about this now. That's right, I have children. Oh, hi team. Today's been a bit of a write-off for me. I don't know if I told you this, but I was really unwell at the start of the week, and then I pushed through when I should have rested, and now it's kind of back. So I've just got a fever, and yeah. So my children haven't been here all day, which has been lovely, and my husband organised that, and hooray to him. And reading has been hard to focus on because I just feel a bit I am reading Circe at the moment with Paula from Draw Your Book. She's a great person to buddy read with. Her and I read Song of Achilles together, and now we're doing the Circe thing, and it's such a good book. But I finally finished my read for today, and yeah, I'm still in the reading mood. So let's go back to this. I'm on page 40 something, so I'm hardly in. The second character, Axel, has just been introduced. So yeah, I'm starting to read about him, but I think I'm going to settle down with this book for the rest of the night without any distractions and see how I get going. Oh, my children will be home. I have to cook them dinner. But yeah, so just wanted to check in with you and let you know where I'm at. I had hoped to finish this book today, but it's just not how it worked out. Okay. I haven't read a thing. I just finished prepping dinner. This day is just a write-off. But I'm home alone and I'm going to start reading now. Charlotte, I was just looking up to see if my library had waterfalls of stars, and it doesn't. If you guys haven't seen Tired Mama Tries to Read, her vlog at her parents' house, and also the best book for 2019 that she's calling already, it's amazing to watch. I love her passion about that book. And I can't get it at my library and I'm so bummed. Anyway, what am I looking up? So I'm reading Shell, right? And I didn't know this until reading this crazy article, but the roof structure of the Sydney Opera House is called the Shell. It's called the Shells. Late to the party again on that one, but okay, cool. Here's a Sydney Morning Herald. Sorry, you can't see it, but here's a Sydney Morning Herald article from the author saying my first visit to Sydney Opera House was a pivotal experience. I totally get that. Oh, it's just beautiful. Hang on. Oh, it's just gorgeous. All of those things on the shell are little tiles. So yeah, right, it does look like a shell. How can I not have seen that before? Oh my gosh. Let's close this up and stop getting distracted. I just needed to find that out before I could read any further. I wish I could sit on the steps of the Opera House and read this book. That'd be magic. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I knew it was coming, but the author just introduced the other meaning of shell as it relates to people in the book and their shells. And you know it's coming, of course, but it comes off the back of a really great exchange and yeah, a really thought-provoking exchange, and it's very well done. This writing's really great. Hooray! And hello team. I literally just walked through the door and then lay down on this bed. I have a sore neck. It's many days later. I think I last spoke to you on Good Friday, and it's now the following Wednesday. And Easter came in a flurry, and I ate all of the chocolate. And then I needed time to kind of come down from that and all of the talking and the people. And I'm only now getting to pick up Shell again, which is just crazy. Actually, I don't even know where it is. Let me go get it. Ow, my neck. Where is that? I honestly don't know where it is. I've really lost this book. Hang on, I'll find it. And then I'll get back to you. Found it. Phew, I was worried there for a minute. Hooray. Let's talk about where I'm at, because I don't even know. I'm on page 86 of this really large print book. Just checking in again because it's been days. I'm sorry about that, but time got away from me, and I read Cersei, which was just brilliant. So I'm gonna lay down again, with my heat bag and my kink neck. Ow. And read. You know when you haven't picked up a book in a while, you're like, what the hell's happening? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, that's right. This guy, Axel, he's stalking the architect of the Sydney Opera House. He literally goes to where he thinks this architect lives and asks around and walks the streets to try and find him. It's a little creepy. Bit of an obsession. I wonder why. Okay. Since we last spoke, I've read 20 pages. I've changed into something comfier, and I've played 2 games of Monopoly Deal. Now I'm back on the bed. I'm going to read some more now until I get interrupted. Hard. Oh, that's good. Oh, when you really need a massage, you get the 9-year-old to do it in karate chop style. Oh. Yeah. So this is how it goes when I'm just not completely in my reading flow. Ow, hang on. I read 20 pages and then I watch a booktube video. So I just read 20 pages and watched Doris's huge book haul, which was unreal. So now I'm back to reading another 20 pages and then I'll watch another booktube video. It also motivates me because I see all these amazing people and they're reading and they're enjoying books. I'm like, right, I'm just like not completely in the reading zone at the moment. I could go to sleep, to tell you the truth, and it's only 5:30 in the afternoon. Right, I gotta read. I should make a rule too. Only turn on this camera after another 20 pages. Leave it with me. The main girl in here, Pearl, I've created this vision of who she is and how she talks and the tone she uses and what she says and all that sort of stuff, as you do when you read a book, which is why I am worried about audiobooks, because I like to create that person in my head. If I could draw, I would draw all of these characters. I'd try sometimes. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Pearl just met Axel, the guy, and they exchanged words. And she said something really cruel and really out of character for the person that I had pictured in my head. And I'm a bit disappointed. I don't want her to say that. I want her to be smarter and... Yeah, I don't want her to talk like that. So I'm feeling like I've just completely misjudged this character. Or... Kristina Olsson has thrown something in that's a bit out of character. I don't know. Does that ever happen to you? Do you ever have a vision of a character and then they go a different way? Anyway, just thought I'd check in around that thought. Now I'm 156 pages in, and I don't want to jinx it, but it's starting to lose me. It's like there's all of this stuff kind of happening in the background. There's the missing brothers, there's the Vietnam War and her involvement in this sort of underground movement against the war. And then for Axel, there's his involvement with the Sydney Opera House and his obsession with the architect, yada, 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 and him building a gorgeous glass custom piece or something. But they're very much in the background, and we're talking a lot about flashbacks and memories for Axel back to people he knew in Sweden, and we're talking a lot about Pearl's flashbacks of when her mother died and all that sort of stuff. But I just feel like we're not moving forward at any sort of plot point. It's becoming very wishy-washy. He's standing in the waves and feeling the movement of the waves and thinking about the surfers, and she's kind of, it's just, nothing's really moving forward at this point in time. So I kind of have had the beauty of the words for so long, and I know the feelings and all of that sort of stuff, but I just kind of want something to happen. Maybe I'll turn the next page and it will be, but I just kind of wanted to jump in and say, it's starting to lose me. I hope not. I hope we can turn this around. Come on, Kristina, turn it around. He ate so many animals that they soon became too scared to drink at the river. They became too scared to walk through the bush. In fact, they became too scared to do anything. So the Wowie would go looking for them at night. He would sneak around until he saw a campfire. Then he would quietly creep up and pounce on the animals lying there. Hi team, it's all systems go here today. It's a public holiday in Australia today. It's Anzac Day. It's a War Remembrance Day kind of thing. It's very important. But today we are celebrating Anzac Day by going to the polocrosse. For those of you who don't know, polocrosse is a horse sport. It's like lacrosse on horseback. I'll take some video and show you later on. But that's about an hour away, and I am one of those mums that don't let my children have shit food. So when we go to these things, I make sure I cook and take food with me. Yeah, I'm one of those mums. My kids don't really like it very much. So right now I'm busy making bread for sandwiches and pizza scrolls and muffins and all of those things. And so no reading done this morning. I got up in the middle of the night for an hour and read a little bit, but nothing to make note of. I'm really worried that Shell is going to turn into something that is got no real direction. I mean, there's direction there, but just nothing that is pacey enough for me. So fingers crossed I'm wrong. I'm going to take my book, but I'm not going to read it. I just have to take it just in case. But hopefully we'll get home sort of late afternoon and I'll spend the night reading. So maybe now comes all of the horse stuff, and I'll see you on the other side. Thursday night, we're back from polocrosse. I'm extremely exhausted. I am on page 216. I got a tiny bit read to pull across. So yeah, I'm over halfway now, so it's all downhill from here. I just wanted to check in because I had some thoughts, and these are my thoughts. I think I've mentioned before that there's no clear direction forming, and yeah, that wishy-washiness is still happening, and now that's kind of extended for me to the character of Axel. Axel is kind of in the story, from what I'm seeing, to keep the Sydney Opera House as part of the narrative because he's working on a glass commission for that. But I just find that I could just deal with Pearl and it would be okay. Pearl's got so much stuff going on. You know, the anti-Vietnam, the lost brothers, the, you know, being a female journalist in a time where they only get to write about clothes and makeup. So there's lots of things going on. She's got people following her, like it's full on her world, but it just kind of, Axel's voice is what I'm hearing the most at the moment, and I'm wondering why that is. Yeah, I'm wondering what the point of Axel is. Like, could this story just been about Pearl? Because they're connecting, but it's not, that doesn't take up, you know, their time together doesn't take up many passages. It's just, yeah. I think the wishy-washiness is leading me to kind of question why I'm listening to Axel's perspective. Like, what's he bringing to the table, really, other than this musing and love of the Sydney Opera House being built. But to me, what absolutely a great story, but what Pearl's got going on is far more interesting to me. So yeah, I'm just wondering whether Axel's needed, really. And maybe he's needed, but not so prominently. Like, I kind of just want to hear all about Pearl. So that's my thoughts at the moment. It could all be tied up in the end. We will see. I'm going to read, but I think you can tell by the look of my long blinks, I'm not going to get much done. But I will try. Period where I either have to understand that I'm going to be interrupted all the time, or I just put the book down and give up. But I really want to keep reading. Okay. I think I'm going to persist. Wish me luck. Oh man, it's so interesting because I feel such a connection to the story of Pearl and her brothers that were missing, and her dad who has dementia and all of that sort of stuff. It's just like I could just center in on that story and that would be fine, because it's so, the way that Kristina Olsson writes about that, it's really compelling and it's really emotion evoking. Like, I'm just I just want to know about that story, and this book to me could have just been about that storyline and that would have been fine. I want to keep coming back to it, but I get taken away to other characters, and I don't know, it's just a personal preference. Oh, that was really sad. Okay, so I just bunkered down and I finished the book. I'm confused about one of the characters even after finishing it. I don't know what Axel's go was. I'm kind of really confused about him. This is what I think about this book. There were two really great stories in here that didn't need to be put into one book. The author creating a love affair between the two just kind of was convenient for her to put these two stories into the one place. Does that make sense? Pearl's story could have been completely a book of its own and I would have been very happy. Axel's story was bizarre and confusing and I didn't really know what he was doing there, but I guess it gave the Sydney Opera House perspective. Pearl didn't have anything to do with the Opera House. It was just kind of in the background and she was only kind of connected to it because of Axel. I guess this is about, so it's called Shell, so I guess it's about people creating shells around themselves to protect themselves from getting hurt. And both of these characters lost a parent and had to create shells in order to protect themselves from that pain. And they both did that very differently, in very different ways. They lost their parents in very different ways. I mean, there's lots of representation of Shell throughout the book, but I just don't think it's all tied together very well. I think there's lots of independent little stories in here that don't match. They don't belong together. The writing is beautiful. Beautiful, the way that Kristina Olsson interprets things and how she puts that on the page is really interesting and I really enjoyed that. But for me, this book was a mishmash of stuff. It was wishy-washy. There was no clear direction because there was too much going on. There were lots and lots of serious themes introduced that weren't followed through. The flashbacks towards the end annoyed me because I wanted some purpose in the here and now, in Pearl's life now, in Axel's life now. I wanted some resolution. I wanted some clear direction. And the interruption of flashbacks and memory really didn't help with any of that. It didn't provide any context around where we were in the now. It just got in the way of moving forward in the story. Shame. What am I going to give this book? This is a 3-star book. It's just a 3-star book. It was saved by the writing. If it had been bad writing, I think I would have got really, really annoyed with it and I would have been really frustrated. It taught me about the building of the Sydney Opera House and things that I just did not know. So that was good. It didn't really teach me much about the anti-Vietnam movement. No, it's a 3-star book. It's a meh book. It's an okay book. The writing's great though. But I'm glad I read it. I ticked it off a list. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. So that's it. That's the end of the vlog. Thanks for chatting with me through this book that I kind of only just liked a little bit. One day I'm going to do a vlog on a book that I love. Let's hope it's the next one. I'll see you then.